What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Hart, and today I'll be breaking down this four-game NBA slate here on DraftKings for Thursday night. Talking through my favorite plays, breaking down every single game, as well as all the players, talking through my favorite values, core plays, and building a potential lineup for you guys. So make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell, follow me on Twitter, and always you'll stay updated for the news because it will affect the core plays and kind of how you want to build your lineup for this slate, just like every single slate. So once again, hit that like button and let's get right into it. Before I get into the breakdown, I just want to take a quick recap here of my lineup. So for the core plays, they were Nemhard. I also mentioned I really like TJ McConnell, Ben Simmons, Marvin Bagley, and then CJ McCollum. And if you guys follow me on Twitter, I was just in absolute shambles earlier today during the first hour of these games. I mean, don't even get me started. I can go on a 2 hour long rant. I absolutely wanted to snap my laptop in half. It was infuriating what happened. So Nemhard, of course, 6% owned. It's a 20-point blowout in the first quarter. Not even lying. It was 20-point blowout in the first quarter. They end up losing by 50. They don't close with Nemhard, their young second-year guard. They'll just close with TJ McConnell, who's been in the league for like 8 years, and he's like 32 years old. It makes no sense there why they didn't close with him. 6%, of course, it blows out right away. They can't wait till like the third or fourth quarter. No, it's 20 in the first quarter there, so he only sees like 25 minutes. Ben Simmons, massive first quarter foul trouble. He gets 3 fouls in the first quarter. Picks up another one there in the third, as well as getting injured. Lost a ton of minutes there, so that's very unfortunate. Um, J Val, I mean, don't even get me started on J Val. Three first quarter minutes, zero stats. I don't even know if he had a foul. If he did, hit one. That was it. Zero stats, 3 minutes in the first quarter against 100 pounds soaking wet Chet Holmgren. Please, someone tell me how that makes sense. That is the biggest question mark. That is the dumbest thing I've seen in NBA DFS in years. It makes zero sense. Nine first half minutes for JVal. And guess what? He only saw 10 in the second half. He only played 19 minutes and he went for 36. And of course, he misses the double double points there by one rebound. That would have been 4 extra points there, but 0.9%, three first quarter minutes, 19 total. The dumbest thing I've ever seen. Once again, I could go off for an hour, but I'm not going to subject you guys to that. CJ McConnell, core play, he did great there. Royce O'Neal was pretty solid there, 3%, 27 fantasy points. And then Vooch, fantastic there for me. Talked about how I really liked him in the breakdown. 52 fantasy points, went off for 21 and 20. But yeah, I mean, J Val, I just still can't get over that. But yeah, I'll take, doubling up my money. Nothing too crazy there, but it should have been a really, really good night if I didn't get screwed by just the most obscene stuff. But for this slate today, there's only two game totals out. Um, the first one I think the first one is Orlando, Utah. I don't know, but the only one that's really out right now is the Spurs and Suns, and it's an 8.5 point spread. I think like 225 game total, but nothing too crazy here. So for this slate, not a lot of spend ups as you guys can see. Embiid 11.5K, Durant 10.8. Then it drops down to Devin Booker, who is questionable. He's been doubtful the past few days, but now he is questionable. I'm also I'm a lot better now. I'm also just infuriated because I recorded two videos earlier today for NBA as well as NFL, and they would not upload. They were taking 3 hours to upload. This is like the fifth time I've tried to record, and I'm going to upload it. And I'm making this video super quick just because I do not want to wait another 3 hours to try to upload this video without it working. So this video will probably be 12 minutes. Because my internet's been trash the past week. I do not understand it. I wanted to be asleep by this point, but internet is just infuriating. The DFS slate was infuriating, even though I cashed. Sorry guys, but for this slate here, I do think it's all going to be about ownership. So, and what I mean by that is we take a look at this first game here, Toronto and Philly. They just played the other day, and you know, Pascal did not do the best there. Only shot it 8 times in 36 minutes. If we look at Scotty, Scotty's actually been a wagon here. He did great there, 46 fantasy points. Schroeder, he went off for 42 there, so double double. He got another double tonight. Podol was not the best, 25 minutes, 20 fantasy points. Didn't get in foul trouble. He was able to stay out of it there. Only had 2 fouls. And then OG, that's the game he missed. excuse me, he missed that game. Gary Trent, he saw 33 minutes. I think he started that because there was no OG. And Ochua missed that game as well. Or no, excuse me. That was the last game he played in. He played 18 minutes. And so what I mean by this is that Toronto played tonight, and as you guys can see down here at this box score, they all went off. Every single one of them went off. OG didn't miss a shot. Pascal almost went for triple double, and then Barnes, Podol, and Schroeder all went for double doubles. I mean, they absolutely went off here tonight against the Bucks. It was a 20-point game, every single 20-point game from the first quarter through the fourth. And so what I mean by that is I do think these guys' ownerships will be elevated. I still think Pascal will be the lowest owned of the bunch just because he's the most expensive. And before that, he's really struggled. So it's one of those things. He's really struggled with his shot. He's been fine in terms of the peripheral stats. It just comes down to can he hit a shot? If he can, I think he's a solid contrarian option that should be pretty low owned. Still really like Scotty, even though he's priced about right. Schroeder, I do have a lot of interest in Schroeder, Podol, and an OG, OG Ananobi, sorry. But yeah, those three guys have my most interest. We know the double-double upside there with Schroeder, Podol, same thing. They're going to need a size there against Embiid. Just really hope he stays out of foul trouble. If he does, he should see close to 30 minutes. Super productive guy, as you saw tonight. And then OG, great game tonight. It's one of those things. He's going to be playing a ton of minutes. He should play close to 36 minutes. He's aggressive. He can get those defensive stats. So I really like him. Gary Trent, he's a fine play off the bench there. Microwave score. It really comes down to can he hit his shots? If he can, he'll get extended minutes. If not, he does have a very limited floor. Big news here is Precious. If he's good to go, I expect him to see about 20-ish minutes. If it's not on like a hard limit, he should probably see about 20-ish minutes. I think it'd be a fine play there. Obviously, if Podol gets in foul trouble or if Pascal gets in foul trouble, they'll look to him there at 4,700 and he get extended minutes. So I think he's a fine play if he does play. But if not, it's just extra minutes for Podol, and they will dust off Boucher. He only saw 13 tonight, but as you can see, he's super, super productive when he's out there. Foul prone guy once again, but 3,900. I think he's a solid value play all around. Obviously, it looks even better if there is no Precious. That's really it. They'll mix in some Grady Dick there and some other guys, but nothing too crazy. On the Philadelphia side here, Embiid, as the loans spent up above 11K, looks great. Had a really, really good game against Toronto, their first game there, 63 fantasy points. I still think Maxey is way too cheap here for his given role. He should be like 9.5K, close to 10K with how he's been playing there. Super efficient. Really like him. Tobias, fine there in the mid range, nothing too crazy. Kelly Oubre is now in the starting lineup, so I do really like him here at this price tag. 5,800, kind of like his similar role that he did last year for Charlotte, where he had some huge games there if he hit his shot. So it's kind of expect the same thing. Melton's there, 5.5. Don't mind him there in the mid range. It's kind of a contrarian play there. He does still have some upside, even with Oubre moving into the starting lineup, but it does limit his offensive ability a little bit. Pat Bev's there, he's fine. Reed, I mean, if you think Embiid gets in foul trouble, he's a productive guy. You can definitely look to him at 4,200. They will have Covington here, with Morris and Martin. So it'll be interesting to see if any of these guys play. I would assume Covington and Morris get some run, but nothing too crazy. Maybe 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more, but yeah, I don't think I'll go there. Detroit and the Pelicans. So for Detroit, they did play today as well. So we'll go to them real quick. Wow, that Lakers game went to OT. But Detroit here, as you can see, Bagley got the start, did terrible there the second, third, and fourth quarter. Thompson got hurt, so that's big news. Stewart, Cunningham, and then Hayes. So yeah, as we can see off the bench, they did play some Joe Harris, Wiseman a little bit. He had massive foul trouble there in the first quarter, which really limited him. But yeah, Harris, Ivy, Umudi, however you say that, and then Sasser got a decent amount of run. So here with Detroit, obviously the big news is Duren. If he's good to go, I really like him. I really like Clay Cunningham at their price tags. If Duren's out once again, Bagley will probably start. He'll be a really solid value, even though he didn't do the best today in the second half. And then Wiseman, I still think is a solid pivot at 3,000. Even though he had massive foul trouble, only played 6 minutes. Now there is a risk, the Pelicans go small. Detroit can definitely go small, so they don't have to look to him, but he's there. And then Burks is questionable. If he's good to go, I actually do really like him. He's been super productive and super aggressive off the bench there. So I don't mind chasing that productivity. And then, it looks like his brother, I thought he got hurt today. That's my bad, guys. His brother got hurt. For some reason, I thought it was a SAR, but no, he's still a very solid play there. Another game, 30 points. 30 fantasy points, excuse me. He went for 16, 7, 2, 2 steals. He's just been fantastic. So I think he's a very solid play. Stewart, I think he's a fine contrarian play there. Plays low 30s minutes. Ivy, Burks, Hayes. Out of these guards, my favorite would be Burks, and then Ivy, and then Hayes. Hayes has just been god awful. So yeah, the big news really is just Duran. If he's good to go, really like him and Cade, and then I wouldn't mind getting to like a Burks if he's good to go. Otherwise, it's pretty much just the top three for me. But obviously, if Duran misses, Burks misses, then we're going to look to Bagley once again. Cade becomes even more interesting. It's a bump to guys like Stewart, Thompson, Ivy in terms of being aggressive off the bench, and then we could take a shot on a guy like Sasser, who did play a ton of run there. Was pretty productive. On the Pelican side here, big news here is Brandon Ingram. If he's out, then once again they'll start Zion, CJ, J Val, Herb Jones, and Hawkins. Um, and then obviously I'd love Zion, I love CJ, I love J Val, I love Herb Jones. If Ingram's back, it's really just Ingram for me at that price tag and that matchup. And then J Val, I don't even know what to say. Really, I mean, he is insane upside. It's just the minutes have been god awful. So he is the riskiest play of the slates, but he comes in at a great price tag, high upside, but extremely high risk. That's really it's not a lot to like here for the Pelicans in terms of value. I will mention Dyson Daniels. He does get some run, and he's decently productive as well. So definitely look to him there. Moving on to Orlando here, another team where it's like everyone's kind of priced about right. No one really sticks out. Favorite plays would be Paolo and Franz. The offense runs through them. So right now, I don't mind getting to Paolo at that price tag. Wendell, Fultz, Cole Anthony, more of your risky reward option plays. They'll all, Wendell and Fultz will be pretty low owned. Cole Anthony will still get a decent amount of ownership just because he's had a few good games so far. But yeah, your low owned options will be Fultz and Wendell, who both have a ceiling there. They both obviously start. Suggs, he's been playing better, as you guys can see, the past 3 games. 25 or more fantasy points in all three. So I don't mind him there. I think I almost might slightly prefer him to Cole Anthony, especially if Suggs is going to be lower ownership. Off the bench, they'll play guys like Gary Harris, Isaac, Ingles, and Wagner. Nothing too crazy here. No one's really getting a ton of run. Gary Harris has been shooting out of his mind. Don't really trust that. So, yeah, nothing too crazy for Orlando. On Utah, I really like Laurie as a contrarian spin up option here. Kind of a quiet night. They absolutely blew out Memphis there, got in some foul trouble, but still went for 40. As you can see before that, he has 50 plus upside. So, really like him as a contrarian mid range play, or excuse me, contrarian pay up option. Walker Kessler has upside, but he also has a very low floor. Another one of those guys, kind of like a J Val, where it's just hit or miss. Either they're going to go off for 45, or they're going to absolutely screw you. I don't know what to make with them. Collins, I think he's a fine mid range play. I've been pretty steady and productive there. Really like Clarkson here. Had a great game 2 nights. 40 fantasy points. 5,400 is just way too cheap for the 1A 1B option here. Him and Laurie will lead the team in terms of offense. I really liked Kelly Olynyk. When I recorded this video earlier, it was before this game even started. Really liked him, and obviously he probably got a few more minutes. I'd say like 4 or 5 more minutes because of the blowout, but he was super productive there in the first half. One of those guys, as you can see, is super productive. So I still really like him here at 5,100. THC, he's there. He'll play anywhere from 18 to 30 minutes. It's kind of all over the board. They'll mix in some Keontae George. Sexton was actually super, super good tonight. Another one of those guards off the bench that can go for a big game, but also, pretty low floor. Keontae's getting some steady minutes, so I don't mind him. I still prefer getting into like Alec Burks if we're going to get to one of these, lower 4K guards. And then moving on to the Spurs in Phoenix here. For the Spurs side, they just played the other day. So as we saw, the Spurs beat them in kind of a last second fashion there, taking the ball from KD and Coden hitting that layup. But yeah, really like Victor here if he can stay out of foul trouble. The minutes just have not been great, but we know he can still go off in a decent amount of minutes as we saw in that second game. So still really like Victor. The offense is obviously going to run through Coden and Vassell. I still prefer Coden. He just seems a little bit better peripheral stat wise, but they're both pretty solid plays. They should both be pretty low owned. Just because a lot of people just have not been liking, picking him for DFS. Really like Zach Collins here. If he can stay out of foul trouble, he's super, super productive. Great at getting the peripheral stats, blocks and steals as well. So that's just the risk. He's very aggressive. And if he stays out of foul trouble, he should have a few blocks and steals. Can easily go for a double-double as well. So I really like him here at 6,300 as a solid piece from this team. Trey Jones is fine. He should play about 20-ish minutes off the bench. Nothing too crazy. As Osman and Branham are kind of the value plays here, along with Bassey and McDermott. really just prefer Osman. He's been the best out of the bunch. Should play close to 20 minutes, and that's it. And then moving on to Phoenix here. Obviously, the big news is Booker. Past few days, he's been doubtful. Tonight, he is now questionable. So obviously, huge news. Hopefully, we get it before these games start. Otherwise, we might have to build around the fact that he might be back. So for the sake of this video, I'm just going to assume that he's back and he's not on a huge limit and he's good to go full 100%. If that's the case, I'm going to lock and load him in. Obviously, if not, KD looks great. We can kind of go back to the original lineup. So if he's good to go, it's the interest really is just going to be KD, Booker, and probably Grayson Allen for me. You can definitely still get to like a Eubanks there, but still, it would just kind of be those three main guys. If Booker's out, then KD looks great. Nurkic still looks really solid, but then Gordon, Allen, Okogie all look great as the guards. My favorite would probably still be Allen and Gordon, and then Okogie. And then off the bench, we'll see Yuta, Eubanks, and some Nazir Little, who are all are fine plays. So yeah, that's the breakdown here to finish out the lineup. Not a ton of value I like, but I will throw in SETI for now. As I mentioned, huge news on the slate. That Brandon Ingram news, Devin Booker news, Duran. It kind of changes the whole slate. So definitely stay up to date with the news there because this will most likely all change by the time the first games start. And then to fill out the rest of this lineup here, we'll just go with Mo Wagner. As I mentioned, ton of news to be keeping an eye out on. But yeah, if we hope you guys like the video, hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.